This building we're standing in is our reconstruction of Robert Campbell's original 1790 water-driven sawmill. All the power that I need to run this thing I am getting from that little pond outside. Now how it is going to work. Water is going to flow into the mill by way of what is called the sluice. That's that long wooden box outside. It's attached right to my mill pond, and it brings water underneath the mill to right about there. Underneath the floorboards right there, it attaches to the side of something called the crib. The crib is a holding tank. It's about 12 feet tall. And all that water from the sluice is going to fall into it and will start stacking on top of itself, making it extremely heavy, which gives me a lot of power. When I'm ready to turn this mill on, there's a gate at the bottom of that box that I'm going to lift up, let all that water start to flow out, where it's going to hit and turn what's called the flutter wheel. The flutter wheel looks like the wheel off of a big river paddle boat from the Mississippi. Water is going to hit those paddles, and that wheel is going to start to spin. The crank arm attached to it is attached to my saw frame, and it will drive this entire frame up and down and reach a top speed of somewhere around 120 strokes a minute. It's extremely fast. Once this saw is ready to move, we're not actually sawing anything until the log starts moving. That's what this is right here, attached to the top of the saw frame. When this frame is traveling up and down, so is this arm right here above my head. It turns this one, which pushes this long one running behind me forward. Long one's going to hit what's called the rag wheel. It's a big wheel over there. It's got a bunch of teeth on it. And it's going to force that wheel forward. When that wheel turns, it's attached to the bottom of my saw carriage. And it will pull this entire thing into the blade and start cutting my lumber. I'm going to turn this thing on now and show you how it will all work together. That's how we do that.
How long can you keep it running?
This time of year, I don't have that much water coming into my stream. There's more outflow than inflow, so I probably only have 3 or 4 hours worth of work a day. My working season is in the spring. It's March, April, and May. Is when I have enough water coming down my stream, I can work upwards of 14 or 15 hours a day, and you won't even see a dent in the water level. Now eventually, I'll slice off the side. It'll just fall right off. I'll be left with a nice square beam. But my saw carriage is going to be down there. I want it down here if I want to start a cut again. So I'll engage what's called the tub wheel. Looks like a turbine. It's my second water wheel down there. It's going to spin, lock onto the rag wheel, the thing that this long arm behind me was pushing to make the log move. And it turns it the other way, which pushes everything backwards, so I can cut again. just like that. Gives me forward and reverse. I just back up. There's a groove that my blade goes in the head block. I shift my log over and probably start cutting boards out of this beam. I can square a log inside this mill. That's 4 cuts and I get a nice beam out of it. Same thing I was doing over there with the axes in an hour and a half, I'm doing in here in 15 minutes. I then start cutting boards. I can probably get 9, maybe even 10 out of this log before I have to stop. I do that in another 45 minutes. Over there with the pit saw, you're looking at no less than 6 hours.